Hello and welcome. This is James Blanchard, Cisneros, at your service. Today I will be reading the November 17th Facebook post and I will be making a few comments on it, and I trust that it will assist both of us on our journeys. If you do find the video helpful and you're watching through Facebook, please put your cursor over the screen and up here, thumbs up. Or if you're watching on YouTube, down here, give it a thumbs up, and it helps with the listing process. So thank you for that. Here we go. Emotions are the compass of the soul. Today we stop condemning, putting others and ourselves down for having emotions. Today we stop judging others and ourselves for being human. Emotions are simply the reflections of the thoughts we think. They are the compass we use to help guide us to a more peaceful and self-loving place. Today let us hold and listen to them as we would our own children. Instead of judgment, let us offer them support, love, and gratitude for being in our lives. They are here to assist us to better understand and see where we are within our hearts and minds. They are here to help us reach a more honest, productive, and loving place in our life. No longer do we need to numb them out with self-judgment, medication, alcohol, and food. Today we remember that each one of our journeys, no matter how the ego has programmed us to see them, is a sacred co-creation with God. Let us thus enjoy the waves of our voyage and offer gratitude for the ebbs and flows of everyday life. How often have we judged ourselves or others for being not emotionally mature, not wise enough, not spiritual enough? Simply because we did A instead of B, or C instead of D. And so the ego always has us judge ourselves or others because we don't do exactly how it has programmed us to do. And so you see, the ego has you believe that this is proper and right for you, and this is not. That this is spiritually mature, and this is not spiritually mature. That this is emotionally mature, and this is not emotionally mature. And the ego does this to make you believe that truth is somewhere out there, somewhere outside of you. And that if you follow the ego's plan, and if you believe that the truth lies outside of you, then you'll be safe. Then you'll be wise or spiritual or happy or joyous or peaceful. Have less stress. But you see, the ego plays all these games simply to control you. Because the ego has spent a lot of time and energy into making you believe these things as true, that there is a good or bad thing for you to do, think of, say, whatever. In reality, all this is not real. In reality, all this is simply to support the ego's programming as real, so the ego can survive. Because if its thought system, if its programming can survive within you, then it can survive. In reality, you are love's creation. You are love and only love. And therefore your journey, no matter how the ego has programmed us to view it or see it, is sacred, is perfect for you. And you can start to believe this because you have your life experience to help you start seeing the truth in you. You have seen how quote-unquote mistakes or errors have become some of your greatest lessons. You have seen how your emotional reactions to yourself or your friends and family have in the end become, thanks to those relationships, your wisdom, your knowledge, your life experience. And it was because of your whole life experience that you now have this knowledge, this wisdom. And so, if this that is in the past, that the ego had judged ourselves for, as bad or not spiritual enough or not wise enough or not emotionally mature enough, if these situations helped us become this wiser and more knowledgeable being, more self-loving being, and because we're all one, more self-loving towards everybody and all, then was this really bad? Was this that the ego has defined and programmed us to believe as bad and judge ourselves and others for, was that really bad? Because in truth, this helped you become this. So if it wasn't for this, you wouldn't be this. If it wasn't for your life experience, you wouldn't have the knowledge and wisdom. If it wasn't for your errors and mistakes, then you wouldn't have your lesson plan. You wouldn't have learned your lessons. You wouldn't have had your full life experience. And the more life experience you have, and the more wisdom you have, and the more knowledge you have, the more you can become an expression of this truth to others through your simple example. But see, you can only become this example, this light, this greater and greater light to others by experiencing the so-called darkness. And so the ego has defined this darkness as errors, judgment of self and others, mistakes, whatever. It's all an illusion, a lie of the ego, made to protect itself, its belief system as true, made in order to make you believe that the outside world somehow can tell you what is right or wrong for you. That is not true. The outside world can't really tell you anything. For the outside world is simply an illusion of the ego. Only the love in you is true. And so only the expressions of love are true. Kindness, compassion, generosity, forgiveness. Trust in God and God's plan. All those are in truth you. And so today let us not judge ourselves because we're being emotionally irrational. Anybody who remembers Chris Farley, I always think about him when we do air quotes. He was an old SNL guy, Saturday Night Live guy. He would always quote, "I'm not being rational." YouTube it. You'll laugh. I went to school with his brother. Anyway, a little bit off target there, but nothing is ever off target. See, that's self-judgment. The ego would have me judge myself for not offering the message in an exact same way, but that's an illusion of the ego. Everything occurs in our own best interests, for our own healing, growth, and development. So whichever way I'm delivering this message, it's perfect for me to remember it, for you to hear it, for you to maybe think about it, and decide if it's maybe more true than what the ego has taught you and programmed into you. That every single step on your journey is actually co-created with God. And therefore, there's no part of your journey that is in any way bad or evil or worthy of judgment or self-judgment or anger or regret or resentment or hatred or jealousy or whatever. All those are inventions of the ego. And every one of the ego's illusions is not true. Illusions are illusions, no matter how much we've been taught that they are real. So all these illusions we hold about ourselves, all these illusions that we have judged our past self for, now, because actually of our past self, now we have the wisdom to start remembering that every single step on the journey was indeed a gift. And so if it was a gift to get us here, then it was never bad or worthy of judgment of self or others in the first place. And so today we simply align with that memory, with remembering that every single one of our journeys is sacred. And so we do that by offering ourselves less and less self-judgment, and offering others less judgment of their journeys, because we're all one. So the less we judge our journey, the less we're going to judge their journeys. Equally so, if it's harder for you to not judge them, but to judge yourself is harder for you, then use them to remember that self-judgment is not really useful for you. So do not judge their journeys. And by doing that, because we're all one, you'll be unconsciously programming into you that you are not worthy of judgment either. And so see your brothers and sisters, your so-called enemies, or allies, or whatever the ego defines them as. They're all helpful in helping you remember who you in truth you are. Each situation, each individual is helpful. It's helping you remember who in truth you are. And so all your life experience has brought you to this place in time where we're being offered a little more clarity, a little more understanding of who in truth we are. And when this light begins to shine brighter and brighter, we see that yes, I am actually deserving of self-love. I do not have to judge myself or others. That's just a program that I've been brought up to believe is true, and so I did it. And it was simply defending the ego's thought system so the ego itself can survive. But little by little, we're starting to see that the ego is not us. We are only love. And therefore, let us offer that to ourselves and to others today. Let us drop our self-judgments. Let us place them aside. Let us place aside all the program ideas that we're not good enough, that we're not wise enough, that we're not spiritual enough, that we're not whatever enough. Set that aside. Because we have life experience. And we know that it is because of our life experience that we have come to a greater place of peace within us. And so we set up all of the illusions aside, and we have no more need to judge them, those illusions, or ourselves for believing in them. We in fact offer them gratitude, because we now know that they helped us remember who in truth we are. Thank you very much for your time. I love you very much. If you'd be so kind as to like, comment, or share this video, it would help with the listing process, and it might help somebody find this information who can use it someday. If you'd like to leave me a comment or a question, I would be delighted to try and offer a response. And if you can please subscribe to my YouTube channel, I would love to have you in that community. Again, thank you very much for your time. I love you very much, and God willing, we'll see each other tomorrow.